she was kind of crying. She was crying about what had happened to her. White woman's tears. But now in this stream, she's angry and indignant about it. My impression is that this is an act. So now we've got a new strand of discourse. The friendship age gap discourse.
I just think it's despicable. Don't mess with teenagers. What are you doing?
Who knew it happened? And there's no evidence that suggests that anyone until this point knew. If people knew it happened, why is there such a f***ing shock to everyone?
Messing around with teenagers, just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30, or plus, because let's not even start with all the people 30 plus.
Nearly 30. 26 is now nearly 30. Welcome to another rape review. Minecraft Rapepocalypse. Let's go! Okay guys, so I actually did a full react to the allegation video yesterday, so that is already dealt with. That is already well handled and well dealt with, okay? I'll change the intro and the new one's ready, which will be soon, okay? But I just wanted to play this clip, which I think probably summarizes the kind of most substantial, I guess, walk back or change of the story. Also, we got a little treat lined up today, okay? The British Runner has put out a lengthy video about the allegations, and I never got around to watching the Mad Max one because it was like 5 hours long. But he's done it for the Minecraft allegations, and apparently he's like found some stuff. So I'm going to watch his video on stream. I've spoken to him. I'm going to watch his video, and he's going to come on after, and we're going to have a chat about everything. So yeah, that should be fun. I'm a bit disappointed because the video's only got like 400 odd views. So hopefully we can give it a bit of a boost, you know? Anyway, I think he might be onto the Brighton Bastards. We'll see. Okay, but let's go through some of this first. We'll look at this. We'll look at Shubble's commentary on some of this from a couple of days ago now, I think. And then we'll watch this British Runner video.
It is fucking sexual assault. Okay? I'm not gonna apologize. Say that it isn't sexual assault, that I'm not a sexual assault victim. The touching that he has admitted to many times, touching that he admitted to not asking or getting my consent before he did. He felt up my tits on a couch with other people there. He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say. He felt up my tits. Unwanted sexual touch is literally in the definition of sexual assault. It's fucking sexual assault, and I'm never gonna apologize for it.
So the most critical claim that was made in Caiti's third shot at an allegation, because you obviously did the original video and then wrote out a statement about it, is she's now claiming that the touching was of a breast. Now, originally in the original video, she talked about being touched under her clothes, and it was kind of, I think, decided or determined based on what she'd said broadly, that it was a touch around a sort of hip area, you know, and then moving up to a part she hadn't asked it to go. Okay? In the write-up, she didn't say any of this, but did concede and admit to the cuddling of having happened, which she hadn't mentioned in her original story. And now she's saying the breast touch happened. Now, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. I was going full schizo yesterday because it was late and I was just letting loose my schizo theories, okay? There's a couple of ways that you can look at this. I actually watched some of Lyric's coverage and I found that quite enlightening because he had a sort of different angle than I did on this, right? So my kind of thought process yesterday is this is just the kind of escalating of the allegation until the controversy is big enough that the person gets cancelled because this person is gunning for George. And my kind of like schizo conspiracy theories about the Brighton Bastards came into play. And I was saying that maybe she's had like shit poured in her ear. She was making a lot of comments about Dream, which seemed to me quite clearly to be the Brighton Bastards playing their hand and shitting on Dream. But yeah, I thought that it sounded like There was just extra additions being added to make it worse, plainly and simply. Okay. Now, what Lyrics thinks, which is also, I think, a good theory, is that Caiti's tried to pull a bit of a kind of fast one, in that she never spoke about the specifics of what had happened. And the reason that she did that is so that when George came out with this statement, she could just slot whatever was needed. Not slot what it in, but she knew that she'd been touched in that way. And she thought that George might respond and not talk about it. And then she can say, well, he's admitted to touching me, and actually he touched my breasts, so that is sexual assault. And Lyrics called it a Trojan horse, which I thought was quite a good concept as well, you know? So the basic point is there's lots of theories and ideas about what this means and what this looks like, right?
$10 from Phil Croniger. It took 3 streams for her to say he felt me up. You'd think that would be one of the first things she would have brought up when making these allegations.
So if you're feeling a little bit more schizo, you might go on board with this idea that it's being completely fabricated out of nothing, okay? But the more reasonable kind of view, I think, is the one of like, well, she kept it quite vague. George also kept it vague, but kind of alluded to something, but didn't specify. And now she's able to fill in the gap. But by doing it as well, she's able to do this kind of thing where she goes, well, he's already admitted to it. He already admitted to touching me. And guess what? That touching was touching my fucking breasts, right? But George never admitted to that specifically. It's like you've said it broadly, so he kind of steps in on a bit of a landmine that you can then come along and fucking say, well, you touched my breast and you admitted to it, you know? Yes, big, you've activated my trap card energy. Yes, precisely. That's certainly how it comes across to me, at least. But the problem with all of this, and the reason that I'm a bit more schizo about this, is because why did this not come up at any point up until now, as of yesterday, that this was part of the narrative? Why is it that even back then, in every message that she sent about this, she made no comment about a sexual assault having happened, and everything?
$5 from Dank Parole. I think she's probably lying, but if he doesn't deny it, he's fucked.
You know, thank you very much for the super chat. Why didn't it come up originally? But not only that, why didn't this come up months ago? I'm going to cover the Shubble stream, yeah. Why didn't this come up months ago when Dream was investigating the claims that were made about him, that he had like minors drinking with him? Don't forget that he went around and he asked Caiti's friend that was there and asked Caiti's friend about what had happened and about whether or not there'd been anything untoward that had happened. And at the time, nothing was brought up about this whatsoever. And also, none of the friends at any point have spoken about this kind of breast touching. And now it's like Caiti has literally just revealed this kind of concept to the world. And people are getting like she's so angry about it that people aren't like, it's like she is like, listen.
It is fucking sexual assault, okay? I'm not gonna apologize, say that it isn't sexual assault, that I'm not a sexual assault victim. The touching that he has admitted to many times, this touching that he admitted to not asking or getting my consent before he did, he felt up my tits on a couch with other people there.
Like, she's trying to act so indignant about this because she's angrily trying to berate people for being doubtful of a story when you're literally at this point telling us the information that would maybe make someone see it as sexual assault if you'd have said it the first time round. Right? Like, you're so angry at everyone, but it's like you're telling us this for the first time. And the problem now is her story has changed. And if, like, look, if you want to have people believe you and buy into you as someone that's coming forward, okay, you need to have a very coherent, simplistic series of events laid out that people can understand. And that needs to not change. because we've now got 3 different versions of this story that we've got to try and contend with and try and make sense of to understand what actually happened to you. Okay? Because another thing that happened in this response is she totally negated to mention or reference any aspect of the cuddling or the spooning that was happening, you know? Like, she claims that, like, she was spooning in the second written up statement. She doesn't just say they were cuddling, she mentions spooning, but none of that is present here. And the way that she paints it is that he just out of nowhere thrust his hand up her top and under her bra to touch her breast, when clearly there was some stuff happening, you know? Now, I stand by my perspective, because some people don't like this, that, you know, people need to chill and not go so fucking ham at a party when you're meeting someone for the first time. You know, if you're like a big creator, because it could be a risk to your channel at the very least, if not cause awkward, difficult situations to manage. Okay, so there's a lesson to be learned there, but that's not the level of the conversation that we're having. We're talking about fucking destroying this guy and absolutely wrecking this guy over this, when that to me seems totally absurd and unnecessary, you know. And even if there was like a touching of the breast that happened in that situation, whilst you know, it would make it that he was being maybe even more forward than he should have been on a first meet at a party when you're a big creator and there's big risks there. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that like something terrible has happened that this guy needs to be destroyed, you know? So yeah, I just think that the kind of temperature of the conversation is insane. And the other thing as well, there's 2 other things that she did which I thought were really shady. So the first thing she did, which is just kind of like, to me, just an outright lie. I don't know how else you can interpret this. But she claimed that when she said she was freshly 18, because she wasn't freshly 18, she was, I believe, about 5 months into being 18. But she said, I didn't mean freshly 18, I meant 18 freshly out of high school. But then if you go back and listen to the original claim, she didn't say it in a way that made it seem like she meant to say 18 freshly out of high school, because there were times when she was saying freshly 18 and went on to say a bunch of other stuff without even mentioning high school. But yeah, she claimed that she didn't mean to say freshly 18. She claims that she meant to say 18 freshly out of high school, which to me just seems like a fucking complete lie. You know, she tried to infantilize herself. It didn't really work. She got called out for it, and now is trying to come up with some new reason why she said it that way. And the other thing that came up as well is this message. Okay, so in the course of her written allegation that she made after her first video, in it had a message from someone whose name was blurred out, and Caiti claimed that it was from one of George's friends that had messaged her and made it seem like the argument was, oh well, look, even people that were friends with George thought it was weird, because they messaged someone about it and said that George is 26 and cuddling with someone who's 18, right? So people were aware at the time it was weird. But it turned out that it wasn't that. It wasn't this person they thought it was. And it was someone else. Someone else had actually sent this message that was like on Caiti's side of the aisle, so to speak. So it kind of diminished this idea that there was like widespread knowledge this was bad, but even among George's friends group, okay? But then on top of that as well, it's like, okay, but how can you possibly make that mistake? Like, what happened then? So I'm guessing you didn't censor the message, so someone else censored the message. So what? Someone censored the message and passed it to you and said it was someone that it wasn't? Like, it just gets a bit convoluted and confusing. Like, this should be fucking simple, right? And also, it calls into question other aspects of that document of like, well, what else in there could be misinterpreted? What else in there could be incorrect? What else in there could be wrong? And it seemed like the only purpose of that message was just to make it seem like even George's friends knew what he was doing was wrong. But there doesn't seem to be any good evidence to suggest that. Alongside the fact that months after the fact, Dream looked into it and asked around about it because he was called out for having people that were 18 in his hotel room. And at that point, nothing came up that suggested that George had committed this kind of a brutal sexual assault. The messages afterwards from her seemed to suggest a kind of awkward situation that she maybe was a bit embarrassed or bothered by somewhat, but nothing that serious. And then further to that, she continued to communicate onwards with George without any meaningful kind of issues or it being brought up or anything along those lines. So, you know, a lot of inconsistencies, incoherencies, holes that are trying to be stitched together. And another thing that I was thinking about, right, is that in the first stream, she was kind of crying. She was crying about what had happened to her, okay? White woman's tears. But now in this stream, she's angry and indignant about it. And I think my impression is that this is an act. Like, it's like she's acting indignant in order to try and paper up the gaps in her story, to create this kind of emotional manipulation, in that she's trying to act indignant and angry so that people just believe and buy into her fucking shit that she's trying to fucking sell, okay? Because it's just crazy to me that the first time round, she's going to be so upset about it and crying, to now being fucking indignant about it. But it seems the aggression and the indignance is to kind of cover up those holes, so to speak. That's my impression anyway. Another thing on top of that too, that she says later, is that she's asexual. So she brings out that she's asexual, which is just kind of like very random, thing. But it's like to claim, well, even if he'd have asked, I wouldn't have consented anyway because I'm asexual. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's great to know and all, but like, how can we really use that to assess at the time? Because, I mean, how was George to know any of this? That you were asexual? It's just such a weird, it feels like a weird post hoc rationalization of their actions in all of this at every point, you know? So yeah, I think that, she has been quite dishonest throughout the process. The story's changed multiple times. Obviously, I'd recommend going and watching the whole thing if you wanted to see exactly what she had to say about it. I've obviously given you a very quick, very swift kind of rundown of the scenario as best I can. But yeah, there we go. That's the kind of summary as quick as I can give it. Now, going back a few steps, I guess, in this whole story, is Shubble actually released her own response to some of this stuff a little while ago, okay? So I thought we could have a look and see what Shubble had to say about all of this. So this is obviously predating Caiti's latest response, but it's likely going to take into account the other stuff that's happened and been talked about in this. So let's have a little listen and see what Shubble had to say about all this.
And boy, am I sick of it. Boy, am I sick of it. And this is where the rant begins. Oh, I am tired. Nobody wants to tell the truth around here, it seems like. And that's all I've wanted to do. I think I thought about this a lot and what I would want to say about what has happened for the last couple of weeks, the things that I was told. Horrible, horrible things. That no one should ever be told. No human being should ever have to be receiving these words. I'm talking about anybody saying words like telling you that you should take your own life, telling you that you deserved the abuse that you experienced, you deserved worse, you deserve to be assaulted.
Dude, I feel like there has been widespread support for these women, okay? Just an insane level of widespread support for both of these women in this, and other women that have come forward too. But they like laser focus on the worst possible things that people have said. Yeah, it is the ultimate one guy that you're doing a fucking video and you're talking about the fucking insane shitters that say stuff about it. When obviously there's been criticism, obviously there has been people that have said controversial things, but broadly I just think there's been a kind of reasonable scrutiny for these people's kind of stories and words, and that has been more than fucking fair, especially when you consider that versus the broader fucking attack.
I don't buy it.
Defensive ad.
Unfreshly 18-year-old whore advertising her virginity and cuddling with a man. Also, don't ever make AI music again. Datish was mad whack, bruh.
Stylo, that stuff was great. I'm going to make more AI music. Thank you very much for the 333. I appreciate it. Do I need to play the Brighton Bastard music again? That was my favourite.
These are all the things that I have heard. And I have seen people saying to each other. And everyone saying these things. Just so disgraceful. Everyone. And some people using the opportunity of someone potentially having taken their own life immediately as justification to say exactly that to somebody else. So disgraceful.
Wait, what? I feel like in these situations, people need to be a bit more specific. Because I'm like, what? Does anyone know what this person is referring to? I've got no clue what. And I've watched pretty closely this whole thing play out. So I cannot fathom who is it that said about killing themselves?
What a disrespect to anyone who has ever felt that way. And I feel so strongly about that because I have felt that way. And to have people telling you that you deserve to be dead. Everyone's saying it. Because this isn't about communities. It isn't about sides. It never was.
What?
I keep checking these accounts.
Wait, hang on.
That are it. Because this isn't about communities. It isn't about sides. It never was. I keep checking these accounts.
I beg to differ. My corkboard with red string everywhere says differently.
Or just troll accounts on Twitter typing KYS and hitting tweet because they don't give a shit. And they don't follow me. They're saying themselves. They don't support me. They don't even know who I am. And people are saying it to me. But all of those people saying...
How do these massive creators see all of these fucking retards? The absolute best thing you can do if you've got any sort of sizable Twitter following is to just switch off notifications from people that you don't follow. It literally is a few fucking clicks. And then you are literally never going to fucking see anything from these freaks ever again. Look, you can mute notifications from literally everyone. It's fucking great. And then the fucking spurgs spam shit in your replies and you literally never see it because it never pops up. Why don't we all do this? It literally makes life so much fucking easier. Especially, like, why on earth, like, you can literally, even if you don't want to do that, you can literally cut out people that are obviously on burners because they might have confirmed phone numbers and email addresses. Default, all of this shit you can cut out. It's just so easy. Do these people not have managers or people they can work with to help them manage their social media? It's such a simplistic thing to do. I'm amazed that these people have got no clue that you can filter out everything that you don't want to get, So stupid, man. I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, it's probably just that they like being able to claim the victim because some random burner account said KYS. The kids who redacted themselves over Wilbur and her. What? Okay, I mean, that just sounds like some sort of micro drama within all this. I just can't imagine. Like, most of the discourse was pro Shubble, okay? I could accept that with Caitibugzz but there was more criticism of Caitibugzz, but that's because the narrative shifted and changed repeatedly. Okay? That's wonderful. With Shubble, she has had overwhelming support.
Okay, Shubble, I'll bite, but you gotta give us some evidence to chew on, not just little nibbles of vague allegations.
Thank you for the 333. Does microdrama require piercing anything? Dude, it's unreal how these people will focus on like the 5% of people that are being critical versus the wide support that they received. Do you remember when the Wilbur allegations dropped? It was wild. Everyone immediately believed what this person had said and Wilbur was guilty. And that was it. Everyone, Dream, other people that ended up getting their own allegations, were in the replies of Wilbur's response saying, "You're wrong. You're fucking wrong about this. You abused and you bit." Dude, it is just so unbelievable that this person is able to complain about the hate they got when it's like they had overwhelming support the whole fucking time.
It to me, all of them have the same person as their profile picture. That's funny, isn't that? But no one should say those things to each other.
Wait, hang on, wait.
No one, and people shit. And they don't follow me. They're saying themselves, they don't support me. They don't even know who I am. And people are saying it to me. But all of those people saying it to me, all of them, have the same person as their profile picture. That's funny, isn't that?
And who could that be, I wonder? Oh. Let's go, the Brian Bastard conspiracy. Okay, who is Shubble associated with? I need to update the Rape Palace. Who the fuck is Shubble associated with in all this?
But no one should say those things to each other. No one. It's unacceptable. You either think that it's acceptable to say those things or you don't. I don't think that there's ever a time where it's okay. And to use that as an opportunity to tell someone else, knowing full well the consequences of saying these things to other people. And then for it to turn out to have been a lie anyway. Because the truth doesn't matter to these people either. And you have to be very careful who you listen to, because they don't care about what's true. And I'm just going to keep coming here and being who I am. And I think anyone who has spent any time in my community between 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 plus in my community know that that isn't something that is ever allowed. I have always had zero tolerance for things like that. And there are people here who have been here for 1, 2, 5, 10 years. They know who I am much better. And even still, I am hesitant to say that you know me. But at the very least, you know the kind of community I've built. You know the kind of platform I've had. You know exactly the kind of issues that I have always stood up for. Oh, thank you, Sophie. My mods. I have another rant I'm going to get into. Oh, boy.
The rant coming. Another... Vosh rant.
And I love my mods. That wasn't about them. That's just... Some of them are young people. They are young adults. And I think that I have seen so many people be so irresponsible with the young adults around them who trust them. And these adults, grown fucking people, thinking that when someone becomes 18, it's suddenly okay and it's different. And you can do anything. No more boundaries. You can make any jokes you want. You can hurt them any way you want. You can treat them any way you want. Because they're 18 and they're responsible for their own decisions. Give me a break.
Okay, so yeah, we're just arguing for the infantilization of 18-year-olds. I say we give them their wish, okay? Let's raise everything to 21. Fuck that. 25. Let's raise everything to 25. That's when they say the brain stops developing, right? Age of consent, drinking age, voting, all of it. Let's make it 25. It's just so fucking absurd to make these ridiculous arguments. Like, look, I agree that, you know, if someone's 18, they are, to me, at 37, they are still like quite young. They're like a youngster, you know? So I think you probably should be a bit more kind of cautious in that situation. But a lot of these Minecraft creators are like in their 20s themselves. They're like in their mid to late 20s, maybe in some cases early 20s. And it just seems so absurd that we're acting like that's such a massive gap that we've got to act so different, that they, I should say, have got to act so differently about things. Bro, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, if really this is what you want, maybe the 18-year-olds should stop getting invited to these fucking events then. Eh? Stop inviting these 18-year-olds to these events, particularly if there's drinking happening. Bro, I don't know, man. It just... We're just getting to the point of absurdity, this insane infantilization that's happening. Maybe it's different in the US, but in the UK, if someone is 18, they're considered an adult. And often that's the time you'd be expected to go away to college, to move at home, go to university, whatever the case may be, right? But now it feels like we're kind of making this dynamic where 18-year-olds, no, actually, that's too young. We shouldn't allow them to be adults and make their own decision at that point. But again, you know, I would say that, yeah, the 18-year-old wasn't invited, she was +1. That's true, actually, yeah. But the other point as well is, yeah, I think this would be a perfectly fine conversation if it was more calm and relaxed, and it was just more along the lines of, hey, you fucking late 20s Minecraft YouTubers, pump the brakes, okay? Don't be so fucking full on at these parties. You know, set better standards, 21 plus, stuff like that, whatever, okay? That would all be totally fine. But it's not it's not that. It is just to the fucking extreme, trying to cancel people for essentially making mistakes in how they've gone about things, you know? And also, some of these 18-year-olds throw themselves at the creators. Can we just call a spade a spade? Here,
okay,
for fuck's sake.
But
Can we call a spade a spade?
Money off depressed people.
€5 from Upso99. PewDiePie did Minecraft and I loved watching it. I'm over my 30 ties. It's a community problem, not a game problem.
Thank you for the €5. Can we just stop acting like 18-year-olds that are go into these things are completely not at any point interested or trying to do stuff as well? Now, obviously, I would say that, you know, there's some commentary from particular people, such as Stylo,
okay, that's wonderful.
that have made comments about them.
How do I make money off depressed
hey!
people?
$9.99 from Nicholas de Oreo. If any grown adult stops to think about how they need to put kid gloves on and take special care of their 18-year-old date, they are probably a Minecraft attracted person.
Thank you for the $10, Nicholas. Appreciate it.
He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say.
What the fuck is that?
Face. Unwanted sexual touch is literally in the def.
Wait, what the fuck did that start playing? Katie's just hopped into the Discord to debate a sexual assault with me. Oh no. Oh boy. It's not a soundboard, no. It's not a soundboard, guys. Although I do have a soundboard now, as you may remember. But I don't have it to hand, unfortunately. I'm not prepared for that today, it seems. Where the fuck is it, bro? I've lost it. I've lost it. No!
I have no friends. I have no life. I have no girlfriend. I barely see my family.
Bababooey. Okay, come on.
An 18-year-old has never been responsible. We all know that. They were 17 yesterday. It isn't different now. And if your line for your morals is that they have turned 18, you have no morals. You just are doing whatever the law says you're allowed to get away with. And I just think I've seen so many people be so irresponsible. Not in...
Bro! She's doing the thing where she's acting like 18 is the fucking age of consent now. We need to set it at 21. That's it. Just set it at 21 and be done with it, okay? And all of these people have to fucking wait, okay? And if you're under 21 and you engage it, even if you're under 21 and you engage in a sex act with someone else who's also under 21, lock them up. That's the fucking future, okay? Make it 25. Fuck it. So there's two things here. One is this like infantilization of 18-year-olds to this degree and acting like someone who's trying to go after an 18-year-old is doing so just because they're young enough, old enough by the law. Now that could be true in some circumstances, okay? Don't get me wrong. But like, there's no proof, there's no good hard proof that George knew how old Caitibugzz was, right? That's not been demonstrated that George was like, this person is 18 and I'm going to do this, this, and this with them. It's very fucking vague as to whether or not George even knew exactly how old they were. You were doing what the law says you can get away with. Sounds like a pedo worldview. I don't think she is one, but holy shit, who thinks about people like this? I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I just, in the George situation, it doesn't seem particularly relevant. You know. Yeah, I did say, but maybe there's like a little bit of groupie-esque culture somewhere, maybe, but it just doesn't seem to be that substantial to generate this controversy and this insanity about it, you know? God, this whole thing is so cancerous, dude.
Even always a sort of relationship kind of way, but any type of influence and trust that you have over someone so much younger than you, but still an adult, technically, there's so much responsibility for someone so much younger than you, but still an adult, technically.
18-year-olds are now technically adults. I mean, is the culture really that much different in America? People that are 18 in the UK go away to university and move out for the first time and live in a university house. And yeah, obviously, there's a little bit of like a development, like they probably fuck things up and fuck up the house and don't look after it and stuff. But like 18-year-olds are given a lot of independence. Like they literally go and live away from home to study, often having to support themselves with a part-time job alongside their studying. Right? It seems like this narrative is being created that America's substantially different from the UK.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
$5 from Puddle Sucker. We should do what Destiny thinks TBH. Age of consent is 25 unless you're related to them.
Thank you for the $5, Puddle Sucker. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've not been to America and got the vibe that it's that much different, that people that are 18 are like coddled in that way. Because I don't know, it seems like in the UK, yes, obviously people that are 18 that go away fuck things up and sometimes need to phone mummy and daddy in order to get a bit of support because they've fucked up. But it is the point at which that kind of adulthood is recognized and that freedom and flexibility is recognized to go and do that sort of thing, you know? But yeah.
There's so much responsibility you have to take such great care with those people. You cannot be irresponsible with that.
Thanks for the $5.
And you are the older, responsible adult.
It's never okay to talk
and when you have so many teenagers in your audience, and those are the people that prop you up, but you're willing to show that you don't, I don't know. I didn't feel fully responsible till I was past 21. 21 is when I even really fully.
It's just mind-boggling to me. But this is the problem too, is when someone is 18, they, wanting to have some responsibility and wanting to get out there and have a bit of independence, having spent the entirety of their life, under the rules and roof of their parents, right? So it's like, what we're now, I mean, I was joking about this, but this seems to be what this person is saying. Well, no, now we've got to make it 21 and they could just wait a few more years. I don't know, dude. I agree in principle that, yeah, sure, if you're an older Minecraft creator, if only for the sake of your career, if you don't care about anything else, if it's just for the sake of your career, just fucking keep it cool. Don't be doing any tickling or fondling at a party for the first time. Play it safe, whatever. But the other side of it's so stupid to act like these people need to be coddled and infantilized when 18 is the age of adulthood in pretty much every aspect of your life. The only difference being the drinking age, which is obviously 21 in the US, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the moment it hitting me in my head that I understood that a lot more people lie than I.
Twisted. Our cultures are damn near the same. What you are struggling to come to grips with is you're watching an old maid use a young woman as a cudgel against young men who no longer find her attractive. There is a singular solution to the WQ.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Thank you, Stylo.
How do I make money off depressed people?
Chud, I have the base take. Minecraft needs to just ban all of these fucking degen and gaslighting bitches. Simply toxic to our brand, all of them fuck off.
Thank you, an Austrian painter, for the 333. Damn, you guys are chucking money at me today. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
I had realized till I was 21. I remember when I was finally with other adults, and I thought that was just like a thing that kids did. I thought that was like just a thing that kids, because they're kids, because they're stupid. And then the realization that other adults all the time are doing that. They're just lying. I hate people that lie. I'm talking about anyone that has been irresponsible with the trust of young people in their, not their care, but sort of, you see them take an 18-year-old under their wing. They call themselves their...
Okay. I've got to be honest. I feel like maybe I'm buying a bit more. Hang on a second. Wait. Imagine conceptually, theoretically, an older lady in the Minecraft community is bothered by the fact that these creators that are similar age to her chasing after the ones that are younger. Maybe Styler's got a maybe Styler's onto something, hey? Maybe.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
€5
Oof.
from Dew of the Mountain. If she is that helpless, are we supposed to believe she would have actually said no if he would have asked?
I mean, yeah. Well, that's the point, isn't it? Is like, you're saying that you couldn't even stand up to stop him, but you would have said no if he'd have asked you, even though that would have been a more destructive, egotistical thing. Anyway, listen, guys, that's just a theory. Styler's in chat if you want to ask him any further questions about his perspective on women.
Their brother, and they gain their trust, and but then they will abandon them at a moment's notice. They will not be there for them. They will not take care with their well-being. They will not take care. They are cruel to them. They're mean to them. There's so much care and responsibility when you have friendships with people with an age gap, because I don't think it's inappropriate all of the time for there to be.
Okay,
Oh
that's
my
wonderful.
God.
But how do I make money
Wait a second,
off
guys.
depressed people?
$5 from D3 Wayne 3. Let's say that hypothetically, purely theoretically, that we exist in a world where you can spit bars better than me.
Okay,
Thank you for the
that's
super
wonderful.
chats, guys.
How do
Appreciate
I
it.
make money off depressed people?
$5 Canadian from Oh My Dog. Here is $5 for stylo-based take.
Thank you for the 368. Appreciate it. You thought that the fucking relationship age gap discourse was insufferable. But what you hadn't considered is the friendship age gap discourse. So now we've got a new strand of discourse, the friendship age gap discourse. Oh my God. Oh boy.
An age gap between friendships. There's just a difference in how you treat those people when they're so much younger than you, that you do need to have more responsibility and more boundaries. I think a great example of someone who takes absolute great care of the people who are younger and look up to them is Philza. I think he's such a great person, as such a role model who means it and thinks that it's a responsibility to take care of them because they're still so young. They're kids. They're teenagers. And I think that if you think it's acceptable as soon as someone turns 18, suddenly it's okay to make all types of sexual jokes and to be physically violent with them, or to... I just think it's despicable. Don't mess with teenagers. What are you doing? There is so much responsibility.
So it's... Okay, wait.
In people when they're so much younger than you, that you do need to have more responsibility and more boundaries. I think a great example of someone who takes absolute great care of the people who are younger and look up to them is Philza. I think he's such a great person, as such a role model who means it and thinks that it's a responsibility to take care of them because they're still so young. They're kids. They're teenagers.
So I feel like there's this tactic these people use where they use the word teenager, okay? And the word teenager covers a very broad scope of ages, from, you know, obviously quite in the comparatively young, like 13, all the way up to 19. And there's a lot of obvious like development that happens across a number of different factors in that short period of time. So it means that someone that's at 13 is in a very different fucking stage in their life to someone that's 18 or 19, but they constantly use this terminology of teenager to make it, to collapse it all and make it sound like we're talking about someone who's like, you know, not even out of fucking high school or secondary school or whatever, you know? Yeah, it muddies the waters. Exactly. It muddies the waters, you know?
And I think that if you think it's acceptable as soon as someone turns 18, suddenly it's okay to make all types of sexual jokes and to be physically violent with them, or to... I just think it's despicable. Don't mess with teenagers. What are you doing? There is so much responsibility in our hands when we are the older. And I think something that I've been thinking about a lot.
Don't mess with teen. I mean, like, sure. Yeah, if you're like in your late 20s and you're Minecraft, you don't. But like outside of that, there's plenty of relationships that would happen between an 18-year-old and someone in their say mid 20s that would be no big deal, and I don't think anyone would fucking blink twice about it, right? And in fact, 18-year-olds will sometimes seek. I said it earlier, but 18-year-old people will seek that out. Like obviously, I've talked before about the 14-year-old girls at school who were knocking about with 20-year-olds driving cars. That was obviously fucked. But if someone is 18 and they want someone older because they want to benefit from someone that's older, experience, money, whatever, they'll seek out someone in their 20s, perhaps much older, which is less common. But at the very least, 18 to mid 20s is a fairly standard relationship dynamic because you've got people that are in the mid 20s that want to date someone younger and people that are 18 that want to date someone older. So those people meet and boom, there you go. They're all off the mark, right?
Is this a lie that I've heard a lot of people tell, but I do believe comes from good intention? I just think that we need to stop saying it. Is when, like, if you have a 10-year age difference or something, you have almost a decade between you, to say, what do you even have in common? You don't have anything in common. That isn't true. That isn't true. Of course we have things in common. I play Minecraft, and you all play Minecraft. And I think that it's kind of a lie to make it seem like there's nothing that you'd have in common, when of course we do. And what it might do now is give an opportunity to someone older to say, hey, we have this age gap between us. You're 18, I'm 26, 27, whatever, plus.
Wait, sorry, I'm getting distracted.
We have things in common. I play Minecraft, and you all play Minecraft. And I think that it's kind of a lie to make it seem like there's nothing that you'd have in common, when of course we do. And what it might do now is give an opportunity to someone older to say, hey, we have this age gap between us. You're 18, I'm 26, 27, whatever, plus. And we're not supposed to have anything in common, but we do.
Did you notice? God, they always do this, man. These people are so fucking irritating. Oh yeah, you're 18, I'm 26, 27 plus. Constantly fucking trying to push the fucking age higher and higher and higher whenever they can. They did it with georgenotfound. Someone said that Caiti was freshly 18 and George was pushing 30. This constant effort to problematize it further by acting like these people are older than they truly are. Fucking hell, it's so obvious and transparent.
And so it's special and it's unique and it's different. Of course we have things in common. Of course we do. And that's so important when we do have friendships. And it's so important, I think, also to have those friendships so that these younger adults have people that they can go to that are outside of their parents. It isn't the same. That they can trust and can go to, and know that they're going to someone who will be responsible with them and they will not be careless with them. But people take advantage of that. I don't think it's ever okay. I don't think it's ever okay to mess with teenagers. That's what I think is so much worse. I feel this upsets me so much.
I don't think it's ever okay to mess with teenagers. Just collapsing an entire bracket of age to one word and then using that to act like these people are chasing down in completely inappropriate ways people they shouldn't because they're like underage. That's what it comes across like to me anyway.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
$4.99 from Buzzsaw. Playing Minecraft won't stop her eggs from drying up.
Thank you very much for the super chat, for the thing. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's this you sent me?
And I'm just like, nice, we're nice here. If you want to find like a nice positive community, this is absolutely the one to be in, because I've never seen a nicer one. Literally anywhere on the internet. There's no one nicer out there than my people who are here, who watch and sub and follow. Did Wilbur come back?
Wait, what is this exactly? Tommy tells Shubble that Wilbur has a crush on her in Minecraft Championship. Okay, yeah, I don't know if there's anything in there. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that if you dug through, there's probably some potentially weird things, dynamics that are happening. But anyway.
Because they're so young. They're so young. And you're so fucking old. What are you doing? This isn't necessarily about anyone specific. I just think if the shoe fits, in the wise words of Renee Rapp, lace that bitch up and run. It upsets me. And I said this on Lexi's stream, and I'll say it again on mine. I think that if you've ever been one of these people, because we've seen this happen before too, where you have been caught with your massive platform of influence over lots of teenagers and children, and in private you are being manipulative and abusing people, manipulating and abusing teenagers. I just think that if you are one of those people who was caught and you said, I'm sorry, I'm going to go work on myself, I think that it's a lie if you ever come back. I think that if you have been caught clearly irresponsible with this position of power over teenagers, that if you were actually out there and did the work and were sorry, you'd voluntarily never come back. If you really were sorry. I just couldn't ever believe it if you put yourself right back into the same shoes that allowed you to do that the first time. And I also just think I don't think we should allow a second opportunity when we're dealing with teenagers and children. I just don't think that you should be allowed a second opportunity. Something that I would wish to see from my peers, other content creators, is that I know that there are people that know these things happen. I know that there are people that knew these things happened and they let it happen and they didn't say anything, or they...
What? Who knew it happened? There's no evidence that suggests that anyone until this point knew. If people knew it happened, why is there such a fucking shock to everyone that these new revelations coming out? Who the fuck knew what was going on in the Caitibugzz situation, bro? Who the fuck knew about that? Dream asked around about it when someone took a shot at him for having fucking 18-year-olds in his hotel room. Who knew about this and kept it quiet, bro? Oh my god, man, this is so fucking delusional.
They excused it for their friend. I think that we all need to decide at some point that we find it unacceptable. You hear about someone or you see someone do something like this, unacceptable.
Soy nod.
We do not protect those people anymore. We do not. We don't let them back. We don't give them another opportunity to take it. Teenagers! I think that if there's anything that we should be collectively deciding, all of us, because the community you come from doesn't matter, it never mattered. What we all need to be doing is deciding collectively, these things are not acceptable. Telling people to kill themselves over the internet is not acceptable.
Oh my god, dude. This fucking language control is so insufferable. I just can't bear it, man. Do not use the internet for this thing. Now she's gone too far.
Messing around with teenagers, just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30, or plus.
Bro, she just did it again.
To learn about proper social behavior by going outside and interacting. This woman has been inside playing a child's game for over a decade.
Okay,
very true.
Wonderful.
Thank you for the super chats, guys. She just did it again.
$5
Almost 30.
And bulbous. Not even the Alan Woke community would stoop this low.
Very true. Thank you.
Because what we all need to be doing is deciding collectively, these things are not acceptable. Telling people to kill themselves over the internet is not acceptable. Messing around with teenagers, just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30, or plus, because let's not even start with all the people 30 plus that think 18 is still an acceptable person to have any kind of an intimate anything with. There are boundaries you need to have with those people. They are kids.
They're kids.
Acceptable. Telling people to kill themselves over the internet is not acceptable. Messing around with teenagers, just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30, or plus, because let's not even start with all the people 30 plus.
Nearly 30. 26 is now nearly 30. Dude, it's so fucking disgusting the way these people try and extend it to act like these people are way older than they are to make it seem more problematic, dude. Oh, I can't fucking bear this shit, dude. It's unbearable. I'm 40. I'm 40. Yeah, well, I'm 40 by this logic. Correct. For me, I mean, I'm resigned to my age is just that thing that always goes up and never comes down, right? But like, it's just so ridiculous and it's so transparent. The constant pull. It's 18, freshly 18, teenager, kid, child, but 18. Technically an adult. All of it to de-ageify them. 26, 27, nearly 30, 30 plus. All this effort to make people think that this situation is worse because the person is that much older. It is such fucking obvious, transparent manipulation of the narrative.
Us that think 18 is still an acceptable person to have any kind of an intimate anything with. There are boundaries you need to have with those people. They are kids. I just think that's so predatory. And if you think that the excuse that they're adults is good enough, we fundamentally disagree.
So sick of this.
There's so much responsibility.
Shit.
You don't get this is such a privilege to sit here. I have 1,300 people watching. It is such a privilege. And you are never entitled to it. Never. You are never entitled to keep it forever if you are shown that you can't be responsible with it when kids are involved. And now children are telling me to kill myself.
So who determines that anyway? God, these people are just so accepted. I hate it, man. Well, if you do this, you're not entitled to the platform. Who the fuck determines that? The only people that is a discussion between is a creator and whether or not someone want to fucking watch them. That's it. Well, listen, if you if you want to talk about viewers, we've got 1,215 on YouTube, 140 on Twitch, and 65 on Kick. So we win. We win. We're bigger, guys. Let's go. Domination. Complete and utter domination.
There are things that you can do when people are sending you threats online and harassment, and you should absolutely take every opportunity to show those people.
Can you do less commentary? I'm trying to convince this old hat to DMCA you.
Dark Viper, thank you for the 333. Appreciate it.
But what those consequences exactly are. I have been doxxed over this last couple of weeks, and among the variety of different harassing text messages I received, I got one that was particularly funny. Someone just out of the blue texting me whore. However, that person had all of their contact information filled out on their phone so that when they sent that text to me, it came in with their full name and a photo of themselves. And so with that information, there's a number of things I can do to follow up with harassment. Thank you for that. I have to laugh. I have been laughing a lot to cope. I hope that's okay. Only at myself, though. Only at my own situation. A little bit at them, because that's so stupid. So I have reported their phone number, because with that information coming in with their name, I found their Verizon account, and that number is possibly going to be suspended. I don't actually really know what happens next. Maybe nothing, because who were we to expect Verizon to do anything anyway, though? And it is entirely your prerogative and up to you, if you are receiving harassing messages and death threats especially, if you want to take that to your local police department. There are also ways to...
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Excuse me, Hitler Rapist 1488 said that they want to rape and behead me. Can you arrest them, please? These are fucking alt accounts a lot of the time. Set up your internet settings so they can't fucking contact you. What the fuck are the police going to do about that? Some anonymous freak has fucking messaged you. Unless they live in the same country and they've got some sort of fucking, some like the UK maybe might do something about that. If it's someone in America, what the fuck are they going to do about it? I don't know, man. Like, look, I get it. Okay, it sucks to receive shit on the internet. Okay, I get it. But you've got to do your best to manage that as a creator. And you can't expect anyone but yourself to be responsible for just not engaging with it and setting yourself up to not receive that sort of thing, That's about what you can really hope for. Like, it does suck. Like, I'm not, you know, I mean, listen, I've been the recipient of internet hate myself, but you just got to manage it. It's like, you know, like any situation, if you got a normal job and you get shitty clients to deal with, I mean, it's probably a bit worse because people are a bit more vicious on the internet, but you just got to manage it really. And using it as, like, I think the worst thing of all is using it as this narrative to promote your self-victimization is insane. I just couldn't imagine doing that, you know? Like, I don't know, it's kind of funny to just mock these little freaks to a degree. I mean, if they're like coming at you privately to send you death threats, I mean, that's just a block and a move on really. You can't really do much more than that. But yeah, I think that another thing you got to do is rely on your filtering too. Like, you know, if someone needs to contact you, they'll find a way to do it, as in like a professional contact or something. They'll send you an email or something like that, right? But yeah, I mean, of course, if someone is dedicated to fucking with you, like, let's say that someone was sending you repeated messages across different fucking accounts and it got to be insane and it was like endless. Maybe at that point you might seek out additional support and how to deal with that, you know? But generally speaking, the odd message and stuff, it's just, you got to disregard it really. And I think what's quite cynically being done here is she's taking those comments and using it to paint like more of this victim narrative that exists around her experience, when there was like an absolute wealth and fucking an overwhelming amount of support that she received, which just doesn't seem to be taken into account and is focusing purely on the negative, you know?
If you have that available to you, I think that this is something that you are allowed to do if you are told, sent a death threat or anything of that sort. There are ways to find their local police department to let that police department know about that person. Also, you can find their parents' information on the white pages and call them. Because it is a crime to tell people to kill themselves. And I just think you either are the kind of person who thinks it's acceptable sometimes, or you think it's never acceptable. And I will continue to block everybody sending any sorts of messages about telling people to take their own lives, wishing worse on them, worse than what they have already experienced, me, and sending horrible threats. I haven't blocked a single person speaking to me kindly. The biggest lie that they're going to try and tell is that I've blocked for criticism. You don't get to call it criticism when you end your message with whore or bitch. I have only blocked things that were unkind or untrue,
that's wonderful.
or bad faith, and that is entirely up.
This woman making me misogyn Max.
Thank you very much for the $3. Appreciate it.
Up to my opinion personally, and I don't care even if I got it wrong. I just don't think it's that deep to get blocked on Twitter anyway, if you're not even in the community. To be honest, I always thought it was kind of funny, and I saw a post about this on Tumblr, that people on Twitter take it so personally when they get blocked and think it's such a big thing or think they won something. And for me, it's nothing. I'll block people for any reason. I don't care. It's my experience on Twitter. Twitch sucks most of the time anyway. So yeah, I'll block everybody it takes to have like...
One thing that I find really cringe is when people hold up their kind of blocks as like, oh, you blocked me. Ha ha ha, you blocked me, did you? Ho ho. I tend not to really block. I don't really care that much. You know, muting people is funnier because then you just don't see them and they don't realize and they just fucking post endlessly into the void. But like, there is this weird thing where people act like it's such a big badge of honor to be blocked. If someone's like particularly block happy for like minimal reasons, maybe it's worth pointing out. But yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, man, who fucking cares? Like, oh my god, the cringiest shit that I see is that people have got like threads and they're like badges of honor, man. Oh, guys, look at who's blocked me on Twitter. Probably on the precipice of suicide posting it because all they've got in their pathetic little life is the fact that people that are somewhat famous block them on Twitter. But they're posting it like this fucking badge of honor. It's so stupid, man. The funny thing that I find is that I go to look at some lefties tweet and they've blocked me already and I've never fucking interacted with them. I'm like, who the fuck even is this? Why have they blocked me? My reputation precedes me, clearly. I'm a nice guy. Why have you blocked me? But no, I just think it's fucking doesn't matter that much. It's something people try and use as like a dunk, and it's just gay.
Like even a minute of good time and peace. And I might never have that on Twitter, to be honest, and that's why I might not really come back to participating in that platform, to be honest. I didn't feel like I could keep me or my community safe anymore. They were being called, were being called mutts and dogs. And I just also think that you can't take the actions of a few. Because even in the messages that I looked up and all these people don't follow me, a couple did. And I just don't think that it's any ground to stand on to say the actions of a few represent the whole group. That's just simply, fundamentally, again, not something I agree with. So, but if that was true, then all of those stories that I just told of people and what they've been doing to me, that represents them, if that's the case. Anyone behaving that way, I will not be trying to reason with them. I'm not going to try and take my time to individually speak to all of them and convince them to stop. I'm blocking them. If they follow me, if they don't follow me, I'm blocking them. I don't want them interacting with my posts either way. I don't want them interacting with my community because effectively being blocked, banned.
Oh my god, okay. Now this is tipping over to cringe. Like, yeah, you block people, I get it. Who cares? I don't care that much. Why are you trying to explain yourself so hard? Fuck, Jesus Christ, man. Oh.
And they're removed from my community. So I will continue to do that, but I have done everything else that I can. I have done everything I can. And I will continue to say it is unacceptable to behave that way online for anybody, from any community. Because I've been the only one who said that so far. When everybody is just throwing around these horrible things on Twitter because they think it's funny and they're trolling. And I just don't think it's funny for anyone to do these things. So, yeah. I think that's a really dangerous line of thought to say that you can criticize an entire community for the actions of a few. I heard a noise outside. And I want to keep streaming. I want to keep doing what I do to show people what most of us believe and feel, and the way that we feel is the right way to behave online and to treat other human beings with respect, with kindness. I'd like to show that. I'd like to show all of those people. I think that anyone in any community who's behaving in all the ways that I've described, my community, their community, you have to find it unacceptable in your own community as well. Yeah. Every community should have that standard. And as soon as you see people in your own community behaving that way, everyone should just block and ban them. And report them. Anyone sending things like that on Twitter, you need to report them because they'll be taken down so quickly. Their account will be suspended.
Oh my god. Not on fucking Elon's Twitter, although my tweet recently got visibility limited because it was abuse, apparently. I was thinking about contesting it, but I couldn't be bothered. Who cares, man? Who fucking cares? Oh, Chud, you're being too abusive. We're going to have to stop people retweeting you. It's too abusive. Retweeting this tweet.
And they should be reported. Anyone saying, I just saw something briefly pass by about criticism. It's been a blatant lie that I've blocked anyone over criticism. I've already explained what I find to be bad faith. Just the absolute most victim-blaming questions that you could think. I don't need to explain myself to them all either, and I won't. And I don't want to take any more time addressing only the worst of any part of any community. I think we all need to just move forward, block, report, ban, and we only interact with the people that are reasonable, treat each other with respect simply because we are human beings who deserve respect.
Oh, man. This has now been pivoting into this other fucking gay-ass fucking narrative. Oh, we need to be nice to each other on the internet, guys. Be nice to each other, guys. Come on, we're all human beings. Look, people are fucking deranged on the internet, okay? Just today, I've had to block some fucking deranged freak from chat because they were saying crazy shit. It happens. But I hate the way it gets turned into this victimized narrative. I think what frustrates me when content creators complain about this is that, well, you want the attention though, don't you? But you want a deal where you only ever get positive attention. And that just is not how it works. Part of the deal is you also get some negative attention too. And that's just something you got to fucking deal with, like any situation you're involved in, you know? I just think, yeah, block people as much as you want, but don't fucking sit here and act like it's some badge of honor that you got blocked by someone. But then don't sit here and fucking bang on about how important it is to... Oh, dude, I don't know, man. This is like insufferable to engage with. Oh, man. Women. Bloody women, eh? Am I right?
And then eventually they'll all go away. If we all decide that it's unacceptable for anyone to behave that way, then they'll all eventually disappear from the internet. If we all block them. Because they really want me to do the most in sacrificing my mental health to protect the people that really just want to support an abuser in peace. And to be honest, I think they should be allowed to. Block them and let them do it in peace. Whoever wants, just ignore them. Because they're probably going to continue trying to reply and spreading lies. There was this story about my cousin that I could only laugh as I read, because I have one singular cousin on this whole...
Dude, she's like, look. What is his cousin's story now? What? I'm just like, you had a cousin and someone shared a... What? I didn't see this at all. Where was this? I want to know now. You're probably telling more people about it now than actually saw the fucking thing.
Whole fucking earth. Who is a grown man who has never been here. And no one in my whole entire family met my last partner. No one of my extended family, cousin or second or third cousin, have met any partner of mine ever. And the only family who have ever been here in the 7 years that I've lived here to visit are my mom and sister once. And my mom one other time. So that was stupid. And I'm not going to address every time there's a rumor. I'm not going to do that. This has happened before. And you need to be really careful about what information you find to be coming from a reliable source. If you don't feel in any situation like you have enough information from a reliable source, that's how I felt over the last couple of weeks. I was waiting for more information. That is the most responsible thing you could do. And I did not have access to Twitter at the time either. You wait for more reliable information. Maybe before you call someone a lying bitch. Yeah. Sorry, I should have...
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, I know no one has ever been so forward-thinking to mention this, but let's just be nice to each other. If we're all nice, the trolls would just disappear. The internet has a very fundamental aspect which you can't get around
money
without
depressed people.
$5 from non-servium.
Thank you.
She is the platonic form of prattle.
The internet is primarily anonymous. You can set up accounts without having to verify your identity. So you will always have the issue where you don't have to put your name and face to an account that these trolls are going to exist. And I think that the cost of getting rid of that is far too high, in that people would then have to put their real name and face to accounts. I think that's too high an ask for people. And I don't think that's reasonable. So yeah, I just think you've kind of just got to accept it. Unless you want to completely change the internet, which I think is gay, and make it so people have got to show their name and face. You got to take the rough with the smooth, you know? And plus, trolls are funny sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Trolls are funny. Have a laugh. Stop taking it so seriously. Jesus.
Ads off. I'll just wait. You can watch all of this later. It's only been 40 minutes. There probably are going to be more attempts, and I'm not going to address them all. You get to decide for yourself if you find something to be from a reliable person. I feel so grateful to have so many friends that I really didn't even know if they really... how all of these people really felt about me. But I have so many friends who know me and have taken the time to know me and know that I'm telling the truth and support me. And so many of you support me. And I have to be so grateful for that. I don't want to let the few feel louder than the actual majority of people who really just only believe in treating people with kindness. And so...
Okay, but you've spent fucking 23 minutes of this 26-minute segment talking about it. Given all the dude, I don't know, man. This is so insufferable to me. Oh, who decided women?
Supporting people who have been hurt. Or at the very least, offering the kindness of waiting, perhaps, for more information if that's what you feel you want to do, if that wasn't enough for you. I just feel like there's a mountain at this point, but that's fine. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been thinking a lot about a lot of these things. I think we need to have better standards for the people around us. If we know people that behave in such ways, why are we allowing that? And that's just in general. I'm talking for the most part so in general. I also don't want to forget, I almost did, and I wanted to start with this. I'm so sorry. I have had so many people share their stories with me of their experiences from through Tumblr asks, through email.
Ting.
Really, really opening up to me about the experiences.
Bro, I can't fucking do it. If someone messaged me and said, Chud, I got raped, my response would be, at the very best, that sucks. Good luck with everything. Or alternatively, mocking you for deciding to tell me. Bro, what? It's such a weird dynamic, though. People are messaging you these personal things, your assault stories. Like, who cares about that, dude? I'm here to have a fucking laugh. What do you mean? I don't care about your rape. Give me a break with this shit, will you? Call the police, bozo.
That they have had, and the way that I have made them feel so strong and brave and not alone, and I want those people to be acknowledged. I'm so sorry. I don't want to cry and on the stream. I held it together when talking about Nimona. Please watch that movie. Everyone needs to
Actually, it might be like, oh, you got raped. Hang on a minute. How many followers have you got? Okay, you got a YouTube channel? What's the size of the YouTube channel? How big's the person that raped you? You know, follower-wise. Okay. Might have some legs. Send me the details. I'll stick it in the list for a potential future rape review. Boom.
watch that movie. Oh my god. I'm really going to be trying to focus so much on how much good has been done. So much good has been done. So many people can be safer now. I'm so proud of the people who have spoken up since me, because there were a lot. I didn't expect that as a response. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of these people. I'm so proud to have played any role in anybody feeling strong enough to tell their own story, because it was scary and it is brave, and I'm still scared, and I'll probably be scared for a while about I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how things are gonna happen. And I just think that some people need to start telling the truth around here, I guess. And I think that if it's true, you should say it. I think that if it's true, you're allowed to say it. A few different various criticisms that I just have already said are bad faith. And even still, I've been willing to explain why when I'm treated kindly and asked a question in not the most victim-blamey way. Oh, I forgot where that line of thought was going. Oh, man. I've seen so many excuses. I've just seen so many excuses that I think are not okay, and I think are actually such a disrespect. I've seen people use the excuse of depression to excuse some behavior. I think that that's such a disrespect to anyone who has ever felt depressed.
Okay, well, I guess that's that. This is not even their channel, I think. It's like an upload channel, so I guess it's just going to be bullshit in the replies. Anyway, guys, I'm looking forward to this because I didn't actually watch their video about Mama Max. So we're actually going to watch, and he's going to come on afterwards to give us some further insights and talk a bit about his channel.